But if y'all can't hear me on the YouTube side, I guess I'll double mic myself on what you call it for both. So I guess that's how I'll do it here. All right. So with technical difficulties aside, I think I should be good right now, right? Am I good? I just want to confirm one more time. I good, everybody. Twitter, are you good? YouTube, are you good?
Yeah, I hear you, dude.
Okay, just making sure. Okay, you hear me. Okay, now Skunk, do you hear me? You should hear everybody else on the YouTube side of things. All right, so let's go ahead and get started once again. Thank you guys for joining today on this first time ever crossover between X Spaces and also here on YouTube. Today's topic, as you guys know, is modern gaming. Do gamers play games or do they complain? Because that's where we're currently sitting at right now. Once again, my friend Aidens is also co-streaming as well. I will post his link in my stream chat as well. So if y'all want to watch his stream, y'all can definitely consider doing so and show him some love and some support. So we're going to have various topics here today. But first and foremost, I do have a couple of special guests here. We're going to introduce them here in just in a sec. But do keep in mind though, if you want to speak up and speak your piece in this voice chat here on X Spaces, you can definitely do so. Just raise your hand. We'll let you guys speak your piece, and then we're going to back you out for we can go ahead and keep things rolling and keep things moving because we're on a 2-hour time limit, so we want to try to get things rolling and going. Steph, if you want to speak, go ahead and speak since you want to raise your hand, Missy. But first and foremost, though, Aidens, go ahead and introduce yourself, my friend. Tell everybody who you are and what you're about and what do you do, sir.
All right, so yeah, I'm gonna go. This is my name's Aiden. I run a single player channel all about single player gaming. I make gaming news videos, I make gaming lists, and of course just playthroughs, funny stuff. That's about it.
All right. Now, Dark Riddler, next person up. Tell us who you are, what you're about, sir. What's going on with you?
What's going on, y'all? I am Dark Rilla, aka Garrett Thompson the Fourth. I do story-based games, and I also am a game dev, which we are currently have a set date for February the 28th for our demo of our game, which is Furious, and we do have a tabletop game for it already out as well. And I've really just been working on sorting a few things out and everything else. I should be fully back, give or take, by next week. And I also do have a wrestling league, which I have a lot of stuff ready for that too as well.
Cool. Next person up, Mr. Vanta. What do you are? Tell us who you are, sir, what you're about, and what's going on with you, man. Make sure to there's a unmute your mic button there too. Keep that in mind. There's a button that you got to click. I know he's pretty new to Spaces, so I'm gonna give him a quick chance here to. There you go. Okay, cool. We got him.
All right, give me a sec. Yeah, Venture Black Knight, gamer, working on some back-end development and just getting things in order right now. So, yeah, just talking about some of the things I love right now. So.
All right, cool. No, that's not a problem. That's not a problem. Vanta is also my cousin, of course. So he always gets a little special place right here in the space. Whatever he wants to sit there and speak his piece. So all right. So let's go ahead and get this started right now, y'all. So we got to go through various topics today. We got a lot of juicy stuff to talk about in today's gaming world. Like I said, y'all, the overall topic is that do gamers even play video games anymore? Because it seems like in this day and age, a lot of gamers these days sit there and they complain so much, and it's just so weird that instead of just gaming and enjoying yourself, you're sitting there trying to just I guess make yourself miserable. I feel like more people are making themselves miserable instead of just enjoying themselves and enjoying life. And so we're in such a weird spot right now, So the first topic that we're going to jump on in is I think we're going to mix up a little bit. So the question is though, are remakes and remasters an easy cash grab or a way to preserve gaming history? So I'll start out with this, right? So in my personal opinion, right, when it comes to this, I'm a person who does enjoy remakes and remasters to a certain degree. What I don't like is corporations just rehashing the same shit that we don't really need. AKA, we got The Last of Us remastered, twice, We're getting Days Gone remastered from Sony. So yes, we're in like this weird conundrum where instead of actually giving us something that the gamers want, you know, they're giving us the same iterations over and over again. And especially when it comes to like this, if you're going to go by console generation, correct? Microsoft and Sony they've been doing this console generation, and I believe that this console generation is a complete failure, at least to me, you know. So I'll go ahead and let somebody else take up the floor, and go ahead and hear your opinion on this. And Lazy Gamer, don't worry, so we're gonna get you in here in just a bit. So to reiterate how we're doing this, by the way, is for guest speakers, because we have the main core 5, and then once the main core 5 gets our thoughts across, we'll let guest speakers get their point across, and then we'll have to let you guys back out, and then so on and so forth. That's how we're going to be doing. So we're going to get you in here in just a bit, but I see your request though, sir. So keep that in mind. So Aiden, go ahead and say your piece. What do you think on this topic here, sir? And take your time. Take your time.
Sorry, I was muted. Can you repeat the question one more time? I was shuffling.
So, are remakes and remasters an easy cash grab or a way to preserve gaming history?
Oh man, this is kind of like a double-edged sword to me because, for one, it kind of allows the people who didn't get to experience the original an opportunity to jump into the series. But at the same time, it is kind of a cash grab, I think, because there's no more new ideas that these developers are creating, and they just see it as a way to, follow the trend with remakes. And I don't know. That's just kind of how I see it.
Okay, that's totally fine, dude. It's totally fine. Dark Ruler, what are your thoughts on this question, sir? Because I know you're a big person that gets really annoyed when it comes to remakes and remasters. So, what are your thoughts on that?
The same thought that it's always been, man. I feel like remakes and remasters, for the most part, are not needed, especially if they're going to change up the entire whole game. Like most people, when they wanted Final Fantasy VII, like redid, they didn't want what was put out.
Yeah.
Regardless, they didn't want the action base.
Okay.
Yeah, they wanted it stuck to the turn base, which
they changed it. So
exactly.
Either or.
Yeah.
So they
now let her speak too.
Both the people who wanted action based and the people who wanted turn based.
Y'all hear her, right?
Yeah, we hear. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So what's the problem?
No, it's the fact that old schoolers didn't want that. They didn't want the action part of it.
Yeah.
The option got put in there for turn based.
I mean, well, yeah, after the fact.
Is she talking about the Final Fantasy remake?
Yeah.
Okay,
She's talking about the Final Fantasy VII remake.
Because when it comes to that kind of remake, though, like when it comes to that kind of remake, right? That kind of remake is technically not. It's a whole new game, basically.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. At that point, it's a whole new game.
Yeah. So yeah, but no, I mean, so I get that.
Now see, that's where I agree with HUD. It's really not a new game, even though I got into that's what I got into Hal about. He was like, well, if they do XYZ, is it still the same story? I'm like, yeah, the ending is fucking the same.
The story's still
the same. No matter what you add. Thank you. That's all I've been trying to tell people. The fucking game is technically.
Since people have been arguing with me about Final Fantasy VII since they were talking about releasing it.
Dude, the story is still the same. You're still technically playing the same game. It's just Final Fantasy VII with extra steps.
Thank you.
That's funny. I like that. I like that. Yeah, I like that. I mean, it's the same thing with the Resident Evil 4 remake. It's the same game, but it's the whole new game. It's a whole different game at the same time.
Die on that hill, and I will take it to my grave.
No,
all right.
But here's the thing. Like how I'm okay with updated graphics. I'm okay with that. But let's not sit here and pretend like it's a whole new game when it's not.
Yeah.
If I can still predict the fucking ending because I already played the game, it's still the same fucking story.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Now, a perfect example. The Bleach Blood War. That gets a pass because everybody knew there was voids in that, and dude didn't originally do it the manga. So the anime, he got part in that, and he filled in all the voids, all the plot holes, and all of that.
Yeah.
That's a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
because that kind of does add to the story, no matter what.
Yeah.
Because that's why a lot of people didn't like the 1,000-Year Bloodlust War, because everybody knew it was too many damn plot holes,
Cool.
and the end was questionable because of that. But now the anime came out, he put his hand in the jar of it, and now he's fixing said all issues.
Okay, no, I get that. I get that completely.
But I'm okay. But I just feel like certain things do not need a goddamn remake or a remaster. The Last of Us 2. Why the fuck does that need one?
Yeah, and
Why?
I always feel like earlier games that had terrible mechanics stuff. Like example, 00. Y'all might remember this 007 Nightfire for the original Xbox. That game had abysmal controls for a game of its time, right? But
Mhm.
I would love to see that game get remade or remastered with modern controls because we have the buttons and shit for it now. You know, we have because I think back then it had tank controls back then. That was like the worst for like a 007 game. But that's
Nightfire. Is
Night-
that the one that
it was-
was about you end up having to stop a rocket ship or some shit?
I
or
believe so.
going to space?
It's been years since I played Nightfire, but yes, if I recall, the first mission was like you're already in his vehicle or whatever, and then you meet up on a boat or some shit.
Okay, which one was the one with Maya in it?
That I don't remember, but if anybody wants to come up, if y'all remember that, go ahead.
It was one with Maya, the 007 game with Maya in it. Is that Tomorrow Never Dies? Or Tomorrow Never Lies? Some shit like that. It was one that had a fucking female singer in it. Legit.
God,
I can't think of who
it's
it is.
coming back to me. I just can't put my finger on it. But before we go back to that though, Vanta, by the way, let's go to you real quick. What are your thoughts on this topic, Vanta? I know you got a lot to say too, sir.
Yeah, so I was saying, like, I was, listening to Aiden and Riddler. Like, to the extent I do agree that, like, some remakes are unnecessary and all that, but, I was saying, like, sometimes it's not the worst thing. I think The Last of Us is a special case because they did it, like, the game got remade, re-released, remade, and re-released, like, several times over, more than it really needed to be. Ideally, they would just it would be in a state where you can just bring it over, you can patch it over and just update it over time. But no, they had to keep, fixing it, quote unquote. But I'm not against Days Gone because at least that way it gets another chance. But my thing is, I don't expect people to immediately jump into that one because it's the same old game. Assuming they don't add anything else, it's still the same, game essentially. But beyond that, I do think remakes, remasters, and all that kind of stuff can do well. But I feel like the number one thing has to be to preserve that game in its original integrity, i.e., not like delisting the original or not, if it's already listed and like not breaking it, not what I mean, like the same way they did with GTA, like we'll quote unquote remaster it and then mess everything up. Or if they're gonna like completely remake it, then like at least make sure it's good and up to the standards, similar to like Resident Evil 4 remake did. I think the biggest issue with remakes is like even with that Demon Souls remake is like it's like it's still the same game, but the atmosphere is still slightly different.
Yeah.
So where you could play either game and still get like a slightly different experience out of it. Just because even though like okay it's jank, sure, like the older one, because just because of time, not because it's bad, but because of literally just time and gameplay, because it is the original. Well, I mean technically it's Kingsfield, but it's the original, like what I mean, Demon Souls, Dark Souls, Soul, what I mean, all that game.
Yeah.
But it's like that because it was a different company that changed it, and because it's been modified, it's like they did make significant differences. But overall, I'm not against any remake as long as they keep in mind like the original spirit of that game, which is hard to do. But one thing I really do agree with Riddler, and I'll just wrap this up. Yeah, I personally I understand. Like, I personally would have been fine if they just remade Final Fantasy VII, but prettier, because they messed up when they did that tech demo way back when for the PS3 of like, well, what if we remade Final Fantasy VII? They're gonna remake Final Fantasy VII. No, this is what it would look like if we remade Final Fantasy VII. So you're gonna do it? No. It's like that was the worst thing. And now they several years later they decide, okay, we're gonna make it, but we're gonna remake it. As in, we're not gonna do almost any of the stuff we did before. We're just gonna make a new game, which I completely understand because I can easily see people not as receptive to turn based. But still, for me, I'm like, I would have just rather you just remade the same game but prettier. The exact same game, just prettier. Even if it was crap, I would still love it. I would rather have that version than what we did.
And that's the wild part.
For real, I would
Here's
rather
the
have that.
thing. Here's the thing. Modders had already did it with
See, there
no
you go.
problem.
Yeah.
See, if they would have put that in the beginning, man,
No, it's the whole thing out. This dude literally modded the whole fucking game and added voice acting shit to it. And they pretty much added up to what movie was that? Advent Children. They added like all the shit based off of that.
When I update my computer, that's the first thing. I'm saying
they literally put that into Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah. Well, anyway, let me wrap it up. Nostalgia is a hell of a drug.
Yeah,
And,
yeah, it is.
Jokey.
So okay. So once again though, when it comes to guest speakers, by the way, again, I see y'all that y'all want to speak. We're gonna let you guys speak your piece. First we're about to bring in Lazy Gamer. I know he probably has a lot to say on the subject. So then once you guys speak your piece, we're gonna need you to back out, and then we'll bring on the next guest speaker because again we're getting the topics rolling here. So let me go ahead and bring on in Mr. Lazy Gamer himself. Lazy, what's up? You should be able to speak in just in 2 seconds, Twitter shit. And yeah, go ahead, speak your piece, man. Tell us if you need me to reread you the topic here, just make sure that we on point. So
yeah, you're talking about like the remasters, remakes type thing.
Yeah. So are remakes or remasters an easy cash grab or a way to preserve gaming history? What are your thoughts on this, sir?
To say preserving, most companies, at least like from what some of the people from PlayStation are going to say, is those are ways of helping fund those IPs. So I think there is a cash grab part of it. The other aspect of it, I think, is so for example, like the remasters. Sometimes you especially see this on PC with PlayStation titles.
Yeah,
is a lot of times when it comes to they'll offer it as a collection or a remaster or something, so it makes it seem like it's newer than basically just like, hey, we gave you this thing a couple years later. Hey, we're giving you the best version of it to kind of like, I guess, win over more people on that side.
Yeah.
For the most part, remaster stuff, I don't have a problem. The big problem I have is like for stuff like, for example, for Days Gone, right? If you look at the notes for the PC version versus PS5, it's a $10 upgrade for the quote unquote remaster. But on PC, they're not even calling it really a remaster. It's a DLC because for that $10, all they're adding is there's a couple modes that they are adding in the quote unquote remaster. But graphically, they're adding stuff for like PS5 Pro enhancements and all that. But the PC version isn't getting visual enhancements because it already has like they literally didn't visually change anything on the PC version because it didn't need to. So it's not even like actually really a remaster. It's like saying, hey, we're gonna make it now have basically the better settings that we already had pre-built into the PC port. We're now gonna allow people with newer, stuff like the Pro and stuff to do it. So it's not, to me, it's like that's the tipping point where it's like, is it really like using the word remaster or director's cut or whatever? Those are just terms that kind of make it something new. And I think a lot of times what PlayStation specifically does as well is they want a SKU that says PS5 game.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it's a mixed bag, but then also I think they muddy the waters a lot. So you can't answer it one way because people use remake, remaster so vaguely that like it kind of loses the meaning because it doesn't always mean the same thing.
That is very true. Appreciate you, sir. Appreciate you. We're gonna get you out, and now, Mr. Lawrence LG himself, we're gonna bring you in to speak your piece, sir. And then again, if anybody else wants to speak in the future, just raise your hand and we'll pull you on through. All right, so LG, you should be now a speaker. What are your thoughts on this, sir? Go ahead. Anytime, LG, anytime. Unless you're AFK.
I was actually grab me some water for a second. I didn't even know you had me in here.
No, I just brought you. I know you had your hand up. Just brought you in, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, you just brought me in. Damn, bro. Damn, that's how we gonna do me. All right, bet. You lucky, really hold me back. No,
no,
but you know what though? Honestly, when it comes down to the remake, if you really want to preserve, I disagree. I kind of low key disagree that it's a preservation tactic. You know what I'm saying? In a way, because if you really wanted to preserve, you would be okay with emulation. And a lot of these companies, they up until recently, been tripping about emulation for like the longest time. So fucking stupid. But I think when it comes down to these remakes and stuff, there's certain games that don't need to be remade. Like if it's a game that was popping within the past 5 years or so, you don't necessarily need a remake for it. Like at that point, it's become a cash grab at that point. Like let's cut the cap, please. Like I don't care if it is really popular or whatever. It should be, unless you pull the Kingdom Hearts and lost all the assets for it, you know what I'm saying, type shit, then okay, then that maybe I understand. But even then, that should be few and far between, especially if it's a recent game within recent memory. You know what I'm saying? Unless there's circumstances that could prevent that. That could prevent that thing. Like maybe you left the company. Like for example, Bloodstain got created because he got kicked from Konami, and Castlevania was his baby. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's different. You know what I'm saying? That's a different thing. But it's really dependent on what game and what series and how long it's been.
Yeah.
You do have to put that in mind. Like it's really dependent on how long it's been, like where is it from? And honestly, there's way more games that folks should be remaking that they haven't touched it. They need to. Like I really wish they did more like they did with Spyro and Crash. You know what I'm saying? That was one of, I think we agree on that. That's
though, I think those were remade just to make sure that to pique interest into into Crash and Spyro, because as you know, we got Spyro 4 that came out right after, so that that was real, and that's what I'm fine with too. If you're trying to revive an older LP, or I'm sorry, not LP, IP, then that's a good way to see it too. To see people pique interest, and I think that's one way that Sony is trying to, say, hey, do y'all really want a Days Gone sequel or something like that?
Right.
Well, it could be a possibility, or it could just be.
It could be.
Yeah.
It could be, but like I said, you really got to look into. Like I said, it's really dependent on what you got to look at. What's going on? Like you got to look at context. Basically, that's what I'm saying. And I think a lot of that is lost with a lot of people. They don't know what the fuck to look for. And that's why I'm like, y'all can, like, having Days Gone as a remaster is kind of pointless, in my personal opinion. Last of Us 2 doesn't need a remaster. Hell, the Last of Us series didn't need one to begin with anyway. But that's just me.
So to read a little bit real quick, I'll hold your thought. To read a little bit from the YouTube chat here, we got Mugen Kai here said, I hate remasters that don't fix bugs, erase content from the original stuff, or that don't add like stuff that would have been put because they didn't have space, or remastering games that don't need one. If it wasn't past a decent amount of time, they shouldn't be remastering it. It should be games from a generation we can't exactly get into easily, PS2, PS3 generation. And then he says, brothers, I want a Doc Hack OG remaster. So I can agree with that.
Doc Hack, can I jump in the middle of this? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, like towards that, now because I was going to say something real quick. Check this out. I feel like there should be a year limit on that. Like it's 2025 now. Okay. Let's just say the only way shit needs a remake or a remaster, that shit needs to at least be 15 years old plus.
I can see that.
Like
we
gotta quit remaking and remastering shit that's only 5 years old, y'all.
Yeah,
I agree.
Especially, well, that's why I said especially if you have the access to the tools. Like if you still in this place and you have access to the tools, that's cool. If you don't, now it's one thing to like I mentioned with Bloodstained, Kingdom Hearts had that issue. There was a couple other places that had that issue where you don't have access to the original assets anymore. That's different. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole different thing. You know, those that, you know, that takes a little bit of insight to get into. You know what I'm saying? That's different. But like, you mean to tell me that Last of Us 2 is getting a remaster, Days Gone's getting for what?
Yeah.
Like, I for what? What for? That's like saying Stellar Blade gets a remaster. Like, what are we fucking doing?
Like, what are they remastering? Titty? I mean,
right, exactly. What are we doing? But it is
I
coming.
get it, though.
Hey, it is coming to, but it is coming to PC though. So we finally got a date on that bitch, and I'm getting it. I already put it on the wish list. But no, I'm just saying, like, it's to me, it's fucking like there has to be something. Like, you know, I get the idea of preservation of games, but like I said, you got to be okay with emulation.
Mhm.
As a company, you got to be okay with that shit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There has to be some kind of okay with that shit, because like I think Nintendo just recently said emulation wasn't a problem after fucking years, and you know, shutting down several emulators and shit like that. And then they realized, oh well, you know, emulation's okay now. You know, like, no, fuck all that. Like,
right.
fuck all that. Emulation's been okay, and we need that, honestly, low key, to keep games preserved, especially some of the older games. You know, Nintendo's been lucky. Nintendo's been fortunate because a lot of their games can, you know, people emulate the fuck out of their games. You know what I'm saying? Nintendo has been fortunate. PS3 right now, I think right now the PS3 Xbox 360 emulation right now is going through some problems. I think at this point, if memory serves me correctly. But yeah, no, if it's literally for what it is, the spirit of the letter, what we're talking about, actual preservation, yeah, go for it.
Okay, so we're gonna bring back Lazy Gamer. We're gonna let him speak his last his last statement on this here. Let's go ahead and bring him in, y'all.
Ooh.
And Lazy, you should be able to speak and get some, you know, Twitter stuff. All right, you should be good now. I see you.
Oh, no, you're fine. No, I was saying with that, like I said before, with that. So I don't know if anybody who's played PC, you remember when we used to get like remasters and stuff where, like, for example, if you had BioShock and all those other games, and they would just literally, if you bought it, they would give you the remaster when they do it. I feel like now a lot of times these remasters, whatever, are just ways of getting a little bit more money out of you. It's like, oh, it's whatever. We're gonna, you know, quote unquote remaster it or do some stuff where in the past you would just say, hey, we're gonna give you the PS5 version or we're gonna give you the newer version of it. It's like, hey, how do we recoup money out of doing this now? So now they're using it as a way to basically either resell you the game or to get some sort of upgrade fee where, like, for example, even when we talk about, like, say, porting games to say PC doesn't cost a lot, I'm pretty sure these remasters or changes they're making don't cost a lot. So that $10 upcharge, they're probably making a lot of money off that, even though it's not as $10 versus say 60 or 70. I'm pretty sure the budget to do whatever change they made was nowhere near making a game. So like it's much more profitable for them to now sell it. And then they're basically conditioning people to pay for getting newer versions of games they already own. So it's like ways like, how you've already bought the game, how do we get more money out of it?
And also keep in mind, so since we have 6 speakers, by the way, Lazy and LG, y'all don't have to back out unless y'all want to. We'll let you guys, but anybody that's new, we'll bring them in, let them speak their piece, and then we'll let them, you know, we'll back them out and stuff like that. Put it like that.
That's cool to me.
But I appreciate that, though. Appreciate it. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next topic here. Let me go ahead and bring this up. So this was going to be a pretty spicy topic here. Give me 2 seconds. 2 seconds. So this one here. Now, as you guys know, we're in the age of 2025. You know, you guys probably have a lot to speak on this year. So why do PlayStation and Xbox fanboys defend these corporations like they're sports teams? So what are y'all thoughts on that? Like, especially if you're a person that's platform agnostic. Agnostic means that it doesn't matter what platform you play on. You're a gamer. You're going to enjoy these games regardless. But why do these people defend these corporations like they love you or some shit? You know, anybody want to speak on that first? Anybody can speak on that. Okay, go. Okay, Steph, go ahead. Do you want to speak? Go unmute, so go ahead, speak. Let's see what you got to say.
Oh, okay.
No,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, baby.
Why do they categorize games
English, baby.
as sports? I'm sorry. Why? It's not a physical sport. You're moving your hands and your eyes. It's not a sport. Why do we categorize it as a sport?
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, okay.
I
No.
think
Okay. No.
yes.
Okay. No. So you're okay. Yeah, you're confusing yourself. So I'm gonna reread the question for you real quick. So it's why do PlayStation? So as you know, as a gamer, right? You have PlayStation, you have Xbox, correct?
Yeah.
Two separate people. Okay. So why do people defend them like they are sports teams, basically? So like this, PlayStation they don't do they do everything great. They're the best corporation ever. Like they be dick riding basically. Like this corporation does no wrong basically. Or Xbox.
Yeah, they got every Sony game, they got every Sony console, they got every Sony TV, all the Sony shit. Yeah, that type of shit.
Or Xbox. Xbox is so great. Like Microsoft does no wrong. Even though in 2013 they said TV entertainment system are the best. Offline gaming. You can't do that no more kind of shit. But man, I love Xbox. So that's what we're going. So that's what we're going towards. So have you ever heard somebody say like, I love PlayStation so much that they don't do wrong basically? So how do you feel with that rephrase? How do you feel about that?
Well, mine was just more of like a general question of why do they do that?
Yeah,
But-
yes, so why do they defend them? Like they are a sports team. I love the Cowboys, but the Cowboys they don't do wrong or whatever. They like Tom Brady, garbage. He's been garbage for years in the Cowboys, et cetera, stuff like that. But hey, so you kind of get what I'm saying by that?
That's a hard question. Why do they?
All right, here, but yeah, it is. So what, LG, let's get you to go ahead and speak up, LG.
Well, Rilla had his hand up.
Okay, really?
I'm a big advocate for this nonsense because, like Steph, let me explain it to you like this. My favorite team is the Ravens. LG favorite team is the Cowboys. We will outright say everything positive about the teams, but we also are stupid, and we're not gonna say our teams are the best teams. Like I can sit here and tell you right now, the Ravens choked twice, no matter what narrative that is. So
right, Jerry Jones needs to get his act together and fucking
exactly that.
But there are people out there who are just blind to the fact. Like we call them, and some people call them Sony ponies or Xbots or whatever. I've seen that on the crumb side of
it's like their counsel is there's nothing wrong with it under any circumstance. There's no way a PS5 is bad. There's no way an Xbox is bad. You know what I mean?
That's a racing
like 10 for 10. The same way some people vouch for games being 10 perfect 10 for 10s.
Yeah.
And there's just like nothing wrong with them. That's what he means by that.
Like example here. I know you probably didn't watch it. The Sony had a state of play yesterday. Their state of play was just straight up abysmal. It was, sure they had to me when it comes to the state of play, when I'm thinking about Sony, right? I'm thinking about seeing Sony IPs. What does Sony have cooking? I don't give a fuck about what Capcom's doing, what this company's doing, what they're doing, what X doing. What is Sony doing? But after that state of play, everyone's like, man, that state of play was awesome, man. It was great. I'm excited. Okay, but here's the thing, though. What Sony games did they showcase? Yes, House Marquee showcase something, which is great. They're amazing because they're a first party company under Sony. But why is the state of play called state of play when it's called state of everybody else and not state of Sony? You kind of get what I mean? But Vanta, you have your hand up for a while.
Funny,
go ahead and
Can I answer Riddler real quick?
Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, Ryan. When you itemize people on a team, you're supporting the players because they're on the team. How would that work for like PlayStation and Xbox? Because they go based off of games and hardware.
Yeah, now let me tell you
So, are they excited because they have a certain hardware? It's not really Sony, but Sony owns.
Okay, let me put it like this. It's like Angelica. She loves Destiny to fucking death. Got all the collectibles, everything else. But I can ask her right now what's 3 or 4 things she don't like about Destiny and need to be changed. And she'll be able to tell. She won't say the game is perfect.
So you're just focusing on the people that are dick riding PlayStation and.
There you go.
Yes.
Okay.
That's
Okay. Sorry.
where we're on.
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm clarified. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's
let
okay.
Ryan
Hey,
speak.
this is a hold on. This is a safe space. There are no stupid
This is
questions.
not
here.
a safe space. This is not a safe space. You're lying to me.
No, I mean we just wanted to get that at least make sure you understood where we're coming from. But go ahead, go ahead, Bruce.
So I mean, I was just gonna say like, I mean, the same reason why people like y'all were saying, the same reason why people pick sports teams, the same reason why people are so resolute in their beliefs, like political or whatever, even when confronted with evidence. It's like they just want to like basically just confirm their own, their own biases, their own thing. Like if Xbox is great or Sony's great, that means they can buy everything from Sony and have their own thing. Especially nowadays where you have everything on one singular ecosystem. That's the goal. Like everything on one thing, like you know what I mean? Like you buy a PlayStation, ideally you would have had a PSP, or a Vita, and then you trade games over or whatever, or say when you buy the next one, you buy the PS1, PS2, PS3, or well nowadays PS3, PS4, PS5, and hopefully PS6. Everything will carry over, hopefully, but that don't seem to be the case the way they acted. But same thing for Xbox, same for that. It's just because like nowadays everybody want to be right, but they also want to make sure they're on the right team. Everybody wants to be on the winning team, even though nowadays it's like, and I don't even say this as to be a part of it, but it's like most people can get away with just getting a computer and a Switch, and even then, or a Nintendo console. It's a Nintendo console here, but even then, it's like if you could just play the Nintendo console, if you're able to do that on your computer, most people will just do that. Most people will just emulate, like like LG was saying earlier. Most people will just emulate if they can. The issue is if you can. And if you want to, if you really, if you want to. Some people just love having the original hardware. And there's nothing really wrong with that, playing with the original hardware. But, nowadays you walk to a game store and they're trying to hold you up for everything just for like a single like old game. Fuck out of here. But anyway, I mean, yeah, it's just I feel like to me it's just confirmation bias. There ain't no reason to be loyal to these companies. They are not loyal to you. They will take away. They are, a lot of them they're taking. I get it's licenses, but some are even like taking away games and taking away the option to have games or like So what I mean, just be loyal to yourself.
No, understandable. Before we go on to Aiden, I saw he raised his hand before Lazy here. I'm gonna read some YouTube comments real quick. You can kind of state it that it's considered a sports because it does take some skills to play. Though they can translate over to drone operating or robotic surgery. Man, just being silly over there. And Zorak stated, yeah, it wasn't that special to me. He's talking about the state of play, by the way, because there weren't any first party titles, and he knows most of the other titles were coming to PC anyways. Well, Sorax is one first party title that was from the state of play. So, Aiden, go ahead and speak your mind, sir. And I appreciate you guys once again on the YouTube side of things. Much appreciated. Thank y'all.
All right. So I feel there's a couple things that I think about when people try to defend it like a sports team. It could boil down to the games, which I think is a huge part of it. Exclusive titles, which is kind of not as strong of a point today. But I also think it could be the hardware, it could be controllers. But I do think people just get a little too prideful to want to try something new that they haven't even touched. So I don't understand how people could kind of like game reviews today. Like I don't understand how you can talk crap about something when you haven't even tried it yet. I don't know. I think it's just kind of ridiculous, and I don't think it'll ever end. It's just how the gaming community is. There's no changing that.
Understandable. No, I get that.
Honestly,
hold on, LG.
Go ahead, my bad.
It's lazy. Let me speak up real quick.
Oh, he did. Okay, I didn't see that. My bad.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah.
My bad.
Go ahead, lazy.
No. The only thing I'll say is, so for you, talking about for the showcase and stuff, right? So I know for me, like the one first party when they showed that was interesting, right? But I know for me as someone who recently just came to a realization that like I'm mostly playing on PC, it has most of the stuff. I'm putting my money into that, right? If there's only one, maybe two games a year that say PlayStation or Xbox has, well, I'll just say PlayStation because Xbox has all the stuff on PC. I don't need a PlayStation anymore. So I got rid of my PlayStation. So like when I see those events, I want reasons to be like, damn, I wish I still had my PlayStation, but I just don't because the last couple years there's been maybe 2 games in the last 2 years, maybe 2 games a year that I'm like, oh, I could have played that without waiting. But like, as me primarily playing PC now, I like there's barely any, and there's way more other games to play to where I can just wait. Just like how PlayStation people will say they can wait on Xbox games, I'll just wait for them on PC. But going back to what you're saying before too, is I think what it is it's like when like you're in a certain ecosystem or like you're kind of like invested in one thing, you want to justify your purchase and you want to make it feel like I did the thing, like going down this route of going PlayStation or Xbox, whatever, I made a good decision, and I have to do stuff to kind of cement that in that to make it feel like I did it. I did a good choice. I did the thing, whatever. So I think that's more what it is for the PlayStation stuff. Is like, well, they picked a winner. They want the winner to keep having good things, and they don't want to hear anything bad because it makes them second guess their choice to do this or second guess their choice to downside or downgrade somebody else's choice not to play PlayStation or to play something else.
No, yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong in the slightest. Because like when it comes to like this is why I don't even do the whole console boy fan thing. You got to keep both these companies like accountable, basically in the long run. And so I just find it weird that like everyone doesn't matter who what side you're capping. It's like put like this: Nintendo's doing their own thing. They're their own league. Nintendo has their fan club, and Nintendo's doing Nintendo stuff. Xbox and Sony. It's just so weird how both these sides you should go cutthroat for each other, even though both their consoles throughout the past like 10 years, I think, in my opinion, is failing in the sense, like they haven't done anything special in order to, make these consoles feel worthwhile. Don't get me wrong, I used to be an Xbox person. I switched to PlayStation, throughout the years from PS3 to PS4, and I was like, yeah, should I get a PS5? But looking back, I'm like, where are the games coming from on the PS side, on the PSR or from Sony, like. Back in the, we always bring up back in the day, back in the day, PS2 days, PS3 days, we had games upon games upon games. Man, you had like a potluck, bro. But now we don't have that potluck anymore. It's like we're in this weird ass, this weird ass paradox, where people are just accepting slop just to say, well, my console is better, and this is just really strange. That's where we're at right now. But LG, I know you had something to say. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, no, I feel like a lot of these people, man, like I think folks are just focused on the wrong side of people at the end of the fucking day. A lot of these people that's doing all this complaining and shit, if you look at them long enough, you realize that a lot of these people are considered crumb side shit. Like they're just doing the most for nothing. You know what I'm saying? We don't know how much. Like I said, that these people are really just. Do they really game like that? Like some of them might be loyal to their brand or whatever, and that's your business. That's who you are. Hey, you loyal to Sony? Go ahead, do it. That be, if you want to wait 2 to 3 years to get games, you know what I'm saying? Hey, be my guest, okay? If you want to have an electronic paperweight, you're go ahead, good, do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm since I made my PC build back in 2017, my first build back in 2017, I've been great. I've enjoyed every minute of it. You know what I'm saying? I've been enjoying games, having fun, finding new games to play, fan games, emulation, all that shit. Like, new games, all of that in between. And a lot of people just like, I don't like a lot of people that you're describing and we've seen. It's nothing wrong with being a fan of like, a company or this, that, and the third, but it's like, at some point, like I think what Riddler mentioned earlier, you got to realize, okay, well, hey, look, my team isn't doing too hot, type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like if that's what you are, you got to be a sensible fan instead of a fanboy. You know what I mean? So most of the people, they're not doing shit. Like I mean, if you look at them, it's easy. It's easy to dismiss in a lot of cases. People just want to keep going at him and trying to. Go with Adam to change their mind. I'm like, look, I don't like, I'll speak my piece and I can, fight my own battles if I need to. But at the end of the day, I'm just going to do whatever the fuck I want. And that's how it should be. You know what I'm saying? Like, I play whatever games I want. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just went back and fucking played, I've been playing fucking Streets of Rage 4 again, for example. I'm back at playing Tekken 8. I'm playing fucking Infernax again. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get the other endings and shit. Like, I do what like, I'm playing Dynasty Warriors Origins. I'm doing whatever the fuck I want. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what it's supposed to be. And I think, like I said, with everybody getting a platform and this, that, and the third, people can argue and say it's shitty, you know, that people have a platform and everybody's got a microphone, kind of a bad thing. I don't, you know, I don't necessarily agree with that sentiment. I think, you know, it's good. That means you get to interact with people as much or as little as you want, and that's really how easy that is.
No, you're right. You are totally right. So this kind of goes in tangent with the next topic that we're going to be hopping into, by the way. So,
oh boy,
is console loyalty outdated in the era of Game Pass and also PlayStation Network? And we can also add in PC gaming of that. Do y'all think it's outdated to be loyal to a console company now?
Well, objectively speaking, I guess I'll start first here. Objectively speaking, like PlayStation's is actually kind of worse than fucking Xbox's Game Pass, really, because at least when the internet goes out, for example, with like you for PlayStation, like when Sony's thing went out, didn't that happen like last week?
Yeah, so apparently apparently what happened with that is it's like whenever you're able to download your games or whatever, it was only happening to people who game shared that they couldn't connect online basically to play their games. Now, if you had your game digitally already, you know, let's say you bought your game digitally onto the console and the power, you know, the service went out, then you're able to play it on your console, whatnot. But but let's say if I let you game share from my account or whatever, then you weren't able to connect. From what I heard. Now, Lazy might know a little bit more about that because I know he's a little bit more in that space or the area, so he might be able to answer that. But that's from what I saw. But go ahead and continue.
No, but I think honestly, I think what I know Xbox for sure, like it's a little bit more to a point where like you download your game, like if you download the game off Xbox Game Pass, you can still play it. You know what I'm saying? But you do have to connect online to like, you know, for online stuff. But like I think, and I've been saying this for years, I think Xbox Game Pass was a better ecosystem anyway, just in general, just of how Microsoft handles their stuff. But honestly, like having console loyalty at this point, I think, you know, if it's one of those things where like I guess if you want to do it, I guess sure. But I mean, honestly, the answer would be better. The better answer would be to, you know, just especially nowadays, I think PC, you know, will be a better option. Although they're trying to do the same thing to PC gaming too. So, but I think PC is still the better option because you still have the opportunity to get your games. You can still get your games physically, of course. You know what I'm saying? You know, PC gaming and also emulation would be your better bet at this point.
Yeah, because like to me, PC gaming will always be the better choice in this grand scheme of things. Like, let me like put it like this: if I would ever use Game Pass, which I have in the past, right? I use Game Pass as a quick and hot demo service because I'm a person, truth be told, that likes to buy their games. But here's the thing though: when I use Game Pass, right, I gotta remember, okay, I'm using this on Microsoft's area, so if I really like this game, I'm going to have to, you know, I'm gonna spend my money on Steam or on GOG, whatever I can, you know, easily get access to these games. But then also though, as a PC gamer, before I even buy these games on Steam, I look elsewhere first before see what kind of prices. Because, you know, PC game, you can get games for about 40% cheaper than you know, buying the full price. And especially now, as you know, with a lot of games coming out unoptimized and stuff, there ain't no way I'm gonna spend full price. If they want me to spend full price, you better give me full price optimization first off. But anyway, but that's a whole nother conversation though. But but yeah, like,
you know, and that's so going back onto what you're saying. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Someone else was going. So for me, right? I've mentioned this before in other spaces because I've been around for a couple of years now. I was never an Xbox person. What got me into their ecosystem at all was Game Pass PC. So years ago, when what was it, Yakuza Kiwami 1 came out and it was given away on PSN. At the time, I had a PlayStation. I played it, never tried the series before, I loved it. And then I was like, I want to go play all these. And then like a couple months later, all of them were on Game Pass, and I had a PC. I didn't have an Xbox. I was like, oh, let me start playing these. So Game Pass PC actually made me more get into that ecosystem versus just an Xbox in general. And then I started liking stuff like Gears, Halo, not so much. But that kind of got me on the ecosystem on the PC. But just like you're saying before, I buy more games on PC now than I ever did when I bought PlayStation just because of the deals. Like I literally pre-ordered today 2 different games because I was getting like 25-30% off. I'll buy games like was it ReFantazio? I got that for like $40 pre-order. And a lot of other games, I'll get them for like I think Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, I got it for like 45-50 bucks. And a lot of games, I just get them for $20-30 off rip. And I'm like, in the past on console, I would have waited for a sale for these or whatever. And I'm like, if I get the sale in the beginning and not wait, I'll just save the money and add it. But like what you're saying for the loyalty to the console thing never made sense, because basically the loyalty was based on the company saying, hey, the only value we have is the games we have. They're just different ways of accessing certain media. But nowadays, where most of it is accessible everywhere, it doesn't matter, including most people nowadays, like newer people, most of the games they're playing are not the exclusive stuff. That's because if it was the case, stuff like Astrobot, the one game of the year, wouldn't have like 2 million sales. If not saying it's not a good game, I played it, I enjoyed it, but most people aren't. And the problem is, a lot of the people that are fans of a certain platform or whatever are kind of doing for that are a loud vocal minority of the actual bases that are actually playing these systems.
Yeah. You're not wrong. We're saying a lot of good shit here. Don't get me wrong, y'all. So, and that's the case because especially like now, PSN. Once you lose access to PSN, you lose access to those games you download. It sucks ass. You pay $60. You pay what? I don't even know how much PSN costs these days. Was it like $120 now? Just like, or
it's for PSN by itself. It's $80.
Oh hell no!
A year.
Hell.
Yeah,
that's a whole game.
Like I said, I literally gave one of my homeboys. He works a type of job where he's always traveling and stuff like that. So he had like the old Xbox VCR. I always call it the VCR Xbox One. So I literally gave him my Series X and my PS5, my launch PS5, because I'm like, I'm not really playing them. He has the discs from all the Xbox One games and stuff like that. He wanted the backwards compatibility.
Yeah. And
he'll actually make use of it. But I'm just like, I looked at like the biggest thing for me was, like I said, when I looked at my wrap up for this past year, I had 100 hours only on Xbox. And those were stuff that I mostly could have already played on PC.
Yeah.
And my wrap up on PlayStation was like 160 hours of that, where a good portion of that was literally Overwatch that I played with my son. And the rest of it was literally just like Astrobots and I think Final Fantasy Rebirth. And I'm like, if I'm literally only playing maybe 1 or 2 games a year, why do I need this $500 device? Where now it's like, oh, let me just get rid of that device, and that money I would use towards like a pro or whatever thing, I could just buy more games and have more things to play.
Yeah.
That part.
Does anybody else have anything to say on this topic? Aiden's, Vanta, Dark Riddler, or do y'all think with it, or do y'all feel like we said what we need to say? I just want to make sure.
No, I mean, I think a lot of good points were spoken, and I honestly, I don't know. I don't think there's so much of a. I think with all these services, it's really hard to stay on a platform and stay on one particular platform when everything's getting, ported over, and there's emulation. So it's honestly just, to me, it's dying.
Yeah. And this also kind of goes over with like, we're going to go over this topic then here too, because you said the exact words dying. All right. These are your exact words here. Will physical games sales disappear completely within the next decade? Especially as you guys see now, and I'll speak on this first. A lot of now, as we were just talking about Sony people, right? Sony, as you guys know, recently came out with their latest PS5 console, which is comes without a disc drive, basically. All right. And so if you want to have a disc drive, put it like this: you got to pay an extra $80. So you're spending almost $900 to $1,000 on a closed ecosystem box. Now, as you guys know me, I'm a big physical game collector. If I love a game, right, I'll buy it twice. I don't, especially let's say if I buy it, because I am a PC person at heart. If I buy it cheap on PC, I'm like, say I buy it for like $30, right? Now I'm like, okay, if I buy it on my Nintendo Switch, because that's my secondary, console I do play on from time to time. It's not going to hurt me like that, But anywho, though, Sony is actively now starting to get rid of physical games, and it's a sad thing to see. And so at the end of the day, we're not going to be owning the games that we buy or play, and it's a sad future that we have here. And I don't think gamers actually really realize that, because they always say, well, it's for convenience. It's for convenience. I like buying my games digitally or whatever. It's because it's convenient. I have to get my fat ass out my chair to go buy, my game or whatever, because it's right there. And so I feel like people aren't really thinking straight or in the in the right headspace when it comes to this. Like, y'all got to start thinking about the long term, because y'all pretty soon, yes, you know, those physical games that you buy, right? They sometimes, yes, they're not updated, but if you're not in a rush to buy these games, you know, wait a year, then buy it, because at that point the disc is going to have all its updates put it, you know, up on the disc. So at least at that point with newer prints. But Dark Riddler, I see that you had your hand up first. What do you have to say, sir?
No, I was just gonna say I really don't see it happening like drastically, but can it happen? Yeah. And the only reason why I'm gonna say no to that is for the pure fact you got limited editions, special editions, things of that nature that are gonna always be a thing.
Well, here's the thing, though. Now, though, to kind of rebuttal that, though, these editions of these games aren't even coming with their physical counterparts or disc. They're coming with a code within their cases, which is weird. That's the start of this that trend here. You know, you kind of get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay, well then, if that's the case, then yeah, there's a high probability of that happening. If that's what they're gonna do, instead of just, you know, for people who want the hard copy, the hard cases, the glass cases, the special cases, and all of that.
Yeah.
You know, I would. That's why I was saying no, because I know people like myself, you, Angelic here, like we want limited edition, special edition, shit like that, and we usually want the disc, even if we get the code, we still just want the disc.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah. Because in times where, you know, we're not able to access our games online or whatnot, you know, that physical disc does come handy. Because let me tell you something, you know, as much as I like my Steam Deck, you know, my main gripe with the Steam Deck, as much of a great entry level handheld console that is, the main gripe of it is basically DRM. If you're not connected online to certain games, you're not able to play these games on your handheld. Now, versus like my Nintendo Switch, I can get my Switch, I can plug in the game, my physical game, plug that bitch in, I can play it, you know. But versus the Steam Deck, though, I can't do that. You kind of get what I mean? So that's why I'm a big advocate for physical games. You know, physical to me, it's always gonna be a thing. Power goes out, or no, I'm sorry, that's a good thing to say. Let's say power goes out or something like that. Well, I don't have internet. Well, but I do got my Nintendo Switch for the time being. Let's plug in the game, play it for that battery time. But you gotta get what I mean, though.
Yeah.
But Aiden's, LG, Vanta, y'all, what do you guys have to say?
I like I said, I do. While I do like I think we all like the convenience of digital. You know, having that physical still is important. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the thing that I kind of agree with Riller, where it's like it's not gonna go away. They're trying to force it to go away, but I don't think it's gonna necessarily go away anytime soon, because people are still gonna want the physical. People are still the physical. There's still gonna be a thing for it. You know what I'm saying? There's still gonna be a demand. That's not a thing, but a demand for it. Yeah. I believe with gaming, there's gonna be a demand. Yes, with digital stuff. Yes, the DRM is, and I do agree. DRM can be a problem. That's why we got solutions like GOG on the PC side, for example. You know what I'm saying? Which I'm surprised GOG hasn't had any connection with any console like the Steam Deck to work or anything of that nature, which is weird now that I think about it. I think honestly, having that is going to be very important, or at least. Like I said, that's probably where emulations do it. Once again, it goes back to having emulation, letting that run on like your Steam Deck or any other handheld. Because I was thinking about getting me a handheld myself, but probably not a Steam Deck. Maybe you like one of the other ones, but I don't know yet.
You know, if you were, what I would do, I'm a diverge real quick. If I were you, wait until Steam OS comes out. They're currently working on Steam OS, which is the operating system that the Steam Deck uses, by the way. Wait until they release that for other handheld systems like the Asus ROG Ally or the 11 Go or whatnot.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because Windows, even though Windows is like the best system that we play our games on, especially on PC, it is not the best gaming handheld system out there. But the difference is, though, it's like if you want to play certain games like Call of Duty or maybe even League of Legends, something like that, then you have to have Windows, because
Destiny or
yeah. But he just said it's because it's their anti-cheat. or whatever that keeps
Yeah.
you from playing those games.
Like I have a ROG Ally X that I spend 90 to 95% in Bazite, which is basically like SteamOS. And I've had that like since I got the Ally X when it first came out. And I've basically been running it on Linux almost exclusively the whole time it's been out for like the last whatever year or whatever it's been out.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a much better experience for a handheld. And again, that's also another reason I like they're like for me moving more to PCs, it's like death by a whatever 1,000 cuts. It's where, like for example, I have a son that I have to go to his practice multiple hours a week, where I'm sitting there, whatever. Like I get, like I think when I looked at my wrap up on Steam, I spent 25% of my playing time was on portable, on a whatever device. Where like that's a huge chunk, like hundreds of hours that I wouldn't have got if I didn't have a portable device. I could natively just play it, not worry about needing online or anything like that. And that just made it like for me, and I don't mean to ramble for that part, but like for example, when the PS4 came out, I had a Vita. I loved the Vita because it had some it touted some cross-buy where there was very few games that did it, or cross progression type stuff. But that was kind of like what I wish PlayStation 5 had, is I wish they actually had a portable that had something like that, because that's part of also that ecosystem on Steam that I enjoy, and kind of why I kind of gravitated to that, as well as like stuff like Game Pass. I can just switch into Windows and use Game Pass.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Does anybody else have any thoughts on that? I want to make sure, get the rotation going. Make sure that you guys, Aiden's any thoughts? Vanta? I know Ridley's spoken up. Just want to make sure. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and move on to the next topic here. And this is actually probably one of my favorite topics that we're going to be moving on. So go ahead, Vanta. See, you open your mic for a quick sec.
No, I was gonna say yeah. I disagree with what he just said. So.
Okay, no, that's totally fine. So fine. So this is one of my favorite topics here, and I always talk about this a lot. Why do so many AAA games launch broken? Just why? Does anybody want to start before I go in? I want to make sure.
I want an example. You got to name a few that launch broken.
Sir, I could name plenty, sir. We got Stalker 2.
Here we go.
As much as Stalker 2 is a great game, that shit launched broken.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and name one. Spider-Man 2 recently just came out on PC. Launched broken.
Okay. So that's fine then. Okay, I got a few thoughts on that, to be honest. One, I would say Deadline, not due to developers, but due said publisher company. Perfect example, Cyberpunk. And I will stand by, if Cyberpunk would have came out the state that it's in now versus the state that it came in originally, it would have won Game of the Year, because fuck Last of Us 2. The other thing is, I don't feel like they do playtest anymore, hardcore. Because there's no way the rate where, how you just brought up, AAA games are coming up as broken messes straight out the gate, that they do enough playtests.
Yeah.
Hey, there's no way. I'm sorry. They don't have enough people or something. Or people just are not willing to be honest about said game coming out broken. I don't, it's got to be one or the other. I just don't get it. But I get, okay, no matter what, yeah, we're going to have bugs.
Yeah.
That's fine. You know what I mean? It's one thing to have a few bugs here and there. Hey, I found this glitch. Okay, fine. That's what patches are for. Shit like that. Even though I have an opinion about patches and stuff, but that's another conversation. But yeah, that's really my two things. I would say Deadline, and probably just outright, there's not enough like actual play testing going on from us, from our class as gamers. Like, we're not doing play tests. I don't know who they have doing play tests and all that, but I don't feel like it's the modern current audience that's doing it.
Yeah,
it's the blue-haired kind.
Yeah,
really. All right, so I saw Vanta up first, had his hand up, and then we're going to Aiden's, then we're going to Lazy Gamer. So Vanta, go ahead.
All right, so first of all, let me say I do agree with Riddler. Like, it's all timing, because in general, if they can push it out and people bought it, especially with that 3-day offer when how they get you get the Ultimate Edition, it comes out 3 days earlier, even though you're technically a beta tester at that point. Like a lot of times, yeah, like that's perfectly why. Like we've been having this issue for a long time where these games come out half finished, half working, and then maybe a month, a week, a month, 6 months later, like it's perfectly fine. That's when the original version of the game. I remember DayZ, not DayZ, not World War Z. I remember I couldn't even play that game for the first week because we were playing. Remember, we were supposed to buy it together, and then a week later, I was finally able to update it and get on it.
Yeah.
But even other games aren't even that lucky. It takes like when they get out the door, they're broken, and then when they 6 months down the line, they're fixed, but like nobody cares. At least largely, the reputation is ruined.
Yeah.
But I say that it's also I don't think so much as like games aren't being tested, so much as if it's not a big enough bug, they're not going to listen to uh they're not going to listen to the testers. They're not going to listen to QA if the bugs are like not like big enough. You know what I mean? Like if well, I mean, sometimes it doesn't even seem like they're even listening to them, and then, but a lot of times, if those be small glitches that they're fully aware of, they're fully planning on patching out on day one. But like other things, is like the QA people, have gone on record of being like, "Hey, look, this game's broken. If you do this, it's not gonna work." And they didn't listen, and it happens, and it happens from time and time again. So if they can save a dime on that, they will,
Yeah.
you know. But those are my reasons. I'm sure there's others, but yeah, those would be the main things I would say.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Aidens, go ahead, sir.
All right, I feel like the biggest reason that games launch broken and mostly stay broken is they rely too much on upscaling technology.
Yep.
I just
You
feel
said
like
it.
as simple as that, like this trend of uh these broken games, I don't know, it's a big problem and there's no excuse. I mean, this technology, yes, it can be a godsend for people on especially older hardware, but it's also I don't know. There's definitely a part in it that just isn't clicking with the gaming community, and I'm one of those. Like, I I hate that every game is starting to implement it and rely on it, and I feel like even if you check the game specs, if your PC can run it at a certain frame rate and resolution, they're even including it that you need to have it on, and it's just I don't know. I just don't like where it's headed.
No, I get that. Lazy gamer. Or are you done? Are you done? Just want to make sure.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, lazy gamer, go ahead. You up, sir?
Yeah. So what I was going to say about the two, a couple different things. One, a lot of it, I think 100% has to do with the business side of things, where they have to have certain things that are hitting certain quarters for sustain. Like we had need income from this thing, we put all that money in it, right? The other thing, like I mentioned before, is I wish more games would look at stuff like early access. Maybe not like all games, but like for example, part of the reason Baldur's Gate 3 I think did so well is it was sitting in early access for like a year. And that's one of the things that I'm really starting to appreciate on PC is the multiple games I have in early access, like Enshrouded, Windblown, which is made by the devs from what is that game? It's a roguelike or whatever. I can't think what it is right a second, but there's like plenty of games that come out that where they refine things over time, and I feel like when you do that, you have more grace a little bit. Where like it's understood everything isn't gonna be whatever. The problem is when you're selling a finished product. In all essence, they feel more like betas, not betas, but they feel more like early access versions. Whereas like they do, and then going back to the play testing, right? The problem with some of these games, depending on the scale of it, not all of them, uh, I feel like early access would help address some of that because if you have a larger subset of people in a short period of time, you can find a lot more bugs than hiring a smaller subset of people because those smaller subset may not go through every iteration of things that could basically trigger something.
Mhm.
And the last part is part of the reason stuff is doing broken. If you've heard from a lot of these developers, what normally happens is they do the base game or whatever, right? The last thing developers work on is optimization and stuff like that. So the problem with those things is I think if you ever done coding or applications sometimes is say you figure like, oh, this issue we've been having, we'll get this resolved. And then maybe you'll find out later that resolve breaks other things or other complications that are not expected. And you won't know that till you get into the optimization phase, which is at the end. So a lot of times they'll do it and then put themselves in a corner where it's like, hey, we have this date coming up. We thought we'd fix this issue. It's not issued or it's not resolved. So then what can we do? But we have to release it. That's why I think like more games should use stuff like early access and stuff like that to flesh out those things.
Okay. Vanta, yeah, I think I saw your hand up again. What's up, sir?
Well, if anybody else wants to go, I just have one more thing to say. But if anybody else wants to go,
I'll speak my piece real quick. It kind of goes around with what Aiden's stated, right? First off, I want to say this: Unreal Engine 5 is a garbage ass engine. I feel like developers, first off, need to quit using this engine. I think that engine is just a straight up crutch. And it's part of the reason why gaming and optimization is where we're at right now. Because first off, if I recall, there was recently like an article. I'm trying to remember where I saw it, right? Where it was basically game dev. There's a certain game dev who can go out there and teach other game devs on how to optimize Unreal Engine 5. Because as you guys know, every new game that you play that uses Unreal Engine 5, guess what it has to do? It has to install shaders. You got to sit there for the first 5 to 10 minutes and install these shaders. Now, the shader thing is fine because what happens is that it creates a seamless transition when you're playing the game or whatnot, right? You don't get the hiccups when your hard drive's loading a new area, stuff like that. That part of it is fine. And so, but the issue is that if it's not on an SSD, especially because nowadays more games are going on SSD, the game's gonna run like hell. First off, the greatest example of a game that causes issues like this, like I said, Stalker 2. I love that game. Stalker 2 feels like fucking Fallout, and I love Fallout. So I'm loving it right now. But the problem is though, is the game came out sometime last year or whatnot, late last year, but they're still patching this game up. They're still working on it, patching. Now, granted, you could say, well, they're a Ukraine company and they have to move, the war's going on, so on and so forth. I get that. But I can't keep using that as an excuse in order for you to keep, to get your game basically up to par. Is what I'm trying to say here. There are many other games that has these issues as well. But it's just that most of these games, I think it's a lost talent of actually optimizing your product or your game. Basically, I can name Spider-Man 2 was the most recent one. Now, Spider-Man 2 was ported by, I think, what's that company called? Nixus. They're the ones who recently ported Ghost of Tsushima. That game had a couple of issues for me because my game kept crashing when I was trying to play it. But eventually, those issues got ironed out. And I haven't moved back to it yet because I'm a big guy. I'm a big guy on optimization. To me, if the game is not optimized, I'm not going to play it. But here's another issue though. Now, my computer is a pretty beast computer. I will be upgrading my GPU pretty soon, sometime in the near future, to the AMD 7800X or the 7700X. I haven't fully decided yet because the prices are fluctuating right now, right? And so, depending on my money. So anyways, though, when I go to the system requirements of these video games, right? What's the biggest? Let me give you the biggest example. So yeah, we have Assassin's Creed Shadows coming out. I know that's a lot of game has a lot of controversy whether you like it or hate it. I don't care. It is what it is. I'm probably still going to end up picking it up. But here's the problem though with that game. When you're looking at the specs of it, all right, it's abysmal. That's just one game to name it. By the way, it's just one game. Keep that in mind, right? In the year 2025. 1080p should not be the bare minimum. I should not be getting 30 FPS in 1080p in 2025. I should not. To me, that automatically tells me that you didn't even attempt to even get your game optimized whatsoever. And there's plenty of games I can name that's been doing that, which is why when Aiden's brought it up, they're using AI upscaling. If you have to turn down your game to 540p just to raise it up, just to use AI upscaling, to give it good, good FPS, that's an issue that I have. But Vanta, go ahead, sir. I saw that you had your hand up there. I know I've been going for quite a bit. But go ahead, Vanta, whenever you're ready. I'm gonna wait on. wait on you for a second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. No, I was just gonna say yeah, I think somebody, I think it was Lazy Gamer, touched on it a little bit about optimization, and I was just looking up, and I remember you know, they seem very reluctant to put some of these games even on PC in the first place, just because they have to try and optimize it more, and seems there's some people having difficulty with it, especially some developers. Because I was thinking about why the fuck Vanillaware wouldn't is reluctant to put their games onto PC, even though I think we all know they do much better if they did. But I'm I don't know. That's just a side issue. I was just saying that. But yeah, that was just another reason I was trying to put out there, is that they don't seem to want to or think it will be profitable to put a game on PC, and which is why some of them seem like they're not
Well,
very well optimized
Well, it's
to
because
be on there.
when it comes to a console, you have that one box, that one spec, and that one thing
Yeah,
you gotta optimize for. But yes, when it does come to PC, you do have a lot of different specs that you gotta work through. Right? I get that notion, but even then, it still feels like it's a lost art. Because even with my current GPU right now is the RX 5700. Correct. That GPU has been a beast of a GPU for me. It's been gaming me pretty good lately. I'm not gonna lie to you. But my thing is I should not be struggling with a lot of these different modern games, even though they're not doing anything different when it comes to graphic wise. You kind of go on saying nothing different. It's what are you pushing under the hood? Or are you just trying to brute force your game? That's what it feels like. You kind of get what I'm saying here?
Yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying. Sorry, I forgot. I thought forgot I had myself muted for a second. I think part of the problem right now is just like you said earlier, and I do agree with you on that. It's a lot of this stuff is that goes back to the place you got people involved, and I say this all the time. You got people involved in this gaming shift that really don't care about getting the games out there. Hey, if you really want your game to run, especially if you're using Unreal Engine, things why are you using a new engine anyway? That, it's I don't understand why people are so quick to jump onto the new engine when it's only been out for a certain amount of time. Give it about a year. It's when people go buy a gaming PC and they get they're not a PC tester and they don't got money like that. You know what I'm saying? But they want to get the latest PC stuff, and it's you don't even know how compatible that is. You don't know if there's any overheating issues with components. So why would you do that? Why would you buy a computer? Just buy some stuff that's been out for about a year, 2 years, that's stable, that if there is any problems, you can definitely go look it up and have a better time looking that shit up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And just wait. And it's not that hard. And then also at the same token, people don't want to take the time to test it, especially on PC. And everybody's trying to bring that console mentality over to PC, but it's no, we don't want the console mentality. We want people that actually come over on PC, be a little bit more smarter about what you get into, and be a little bit more wiser in your choices. And trust me, those games, your shit will last for a long time. You know what I'm saying? You don't necessarily, the crazy thing is you really don't necessarily need the latest GPU to do these games. And I think even other PC PC channels have talked about, the whole future proofing thing. That's sometimes a partly a myth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In a lot of cases, because it's it doesn't necessarily how are you going to future proof something that's going to probably need more CUDA cores, for example, in the graphics, in the graphics chart, GPU, you know what I'm saying, that's doing the upscaling, that relies more on AI upscaling or something like that a little bit more later down the line than, something right now that would be solid for right now. You know what I'm saying? So just take it, maybe 1 or 2 years out and then just go from there. That stuff will actually last longer than you think it will, and I think a lot of times it's more of a marketing thing, you know what I'm saying? But either way, that's just my personal opinion on that shit.
Yeah, because like I said, in the future, I had my GPU since 2019. I think not 2019. I bought it in 2020. It came out in 2019, and I bought it before the whole mining craze happened. I think I bought it for almost $400. Anyway, so that GPU, it carried me till now. I mean, it was a solid GPU, and for what I want to talk about here, it's the again RX 5700 or whatnot. Great freaking card, fantastic card. Got me through a lot of shit. By the way, it's just so strange though when a lot of these modern games that are coming out now though. It's I look at the specs, And again, like, I'm currently playing through Stalker 2, Star Wars Outlaws stuff, for example, right? I'm like, again, what are these games doing differently under the hood other than just being unoptimized? That's what they are. Whenever I see a game that has FSR or DLS, I just know the game's gonna run like shit. I just know it. It's automatic.
Yeah.
But we get games like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 that came out, right? That game runs beautifully crafted, optimized, perfect, great. But then when you look at these other games, it's just like, why aren't these companies actually taking their time and letting these developers cook and make sure that these games are, at least, they don't have to be like full 100% optimized, but at least giving us 60 FPS at 1080p. That's the bare minimum now, because now we're moving, in terms of graphic cards, we're moving now towards 4K for the most part.
Nah, it ain't gonna get no better. Like, honestly, most people ain't gonna be able to see 4K. Let's just be honest with you. I mean, people, like, you can do 4K, sure, but honestly, maybe 1440p will be the highest you go. In my personal opinion, when it comes down to it. But other than that, a lot of people will be fucking fine with 1080p and 60. I mean, I think that's my biggest thing with that.
I mean, I still game on 1080p. I mean, it's like I said, going further than 1080p.
Exactly, you should be. Yeah, like going further than 1080p. That's what I'm saying. Like, I know you're saying, like, I think you kind of was about to say it, but like anything above 1080p 60, I'm like, it's pretty much what's the word? Diminishing returns at this point.
Yeah, like, I get that people want to make everything look pretty, but most games in terms of graphic wise, I mean, they automatically look pretty even on medium settings. It's just right now though, I shouldn't see this PC game. I have 32 gigs of RAM. There ain't no damn way my PC should be taking up 70 gigs of RAM. Or better yet, my GPU should not be at full 100%. Actually, running at like 30 FPS on a game that's like medium settings.
Yeah. Right. No, I agree. No, that's agreeable, and I think that's part of the problem. Like I said, it's optimization, and like I said, that's also due to people that's trying to, like, with bad business and that's trying to rush these games out there and trying to cater to people that, once again, I personally don't really play games like that outside of console shit, but that's just my personal opinion.
No. And I want to make sure that anybody else have anything to say on this topic before we move on to the couple more spicier topics before we head out of here. We got about 30 more minutes left to the podcast here, so I want to make sure anybody have anything else to say. Alrighty, so it seems like so we're gonna move on to the last kind of spicier topics here. Now, this is a topic. These are the topics that everyone dreads, But as you guys know, there's been a couple people out there that's been doing a lot of different things out here, and it's been kind of weird. So, how do the gaming grifters, manipulate gamers with fake outrage? Now, as y'all
I'll answer that.
Go ahead.
They red, white, and black thumbnails that they all seem to all do together. It's all just to hypnotize dumbasses who fall for it and click that shit.
You gotta have your face in it too, the thumbnail.
Yeah. Like, let's give it.
It's matter, isn't it?
So to give y'all a couple of examples here, there's been a lot of games, as you know, there's a lot of different games that come out here. There are some now. Don't give me. I'm gonna say this outright. There are some people who actually have legitimate concerns and complaints, but there are other people that they really don't. So one of the most recent complaints that everyone's been agreeing on and talking about here, especially when it comes to the game that's called Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. That game, now that's the game that apparently everybody's a historian now, apparently. When it comes to that,
you talking about what they were talking about, the child sodomite thing?
The child sodomite thing.
Oh my god, that was the stupidest. That was the stupidest thing. Bro,
there's a lot,
But what?
We'll speak on that.
Go ahead.
The main thing I want to speak on is that with the game or whatever, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, the game gives you choices. The main character can be gay for one side quest, or he can be straight, or he's just basically a bisexual character. But either way, it's an option within the video game. Now, the gaming grifters or the outrage baiters here, people are literally jumping on them. What I mean by jumping on them is agreeing with them about, and these are the Christian zealots, or just the people who are, I think they're zealots in general.
Sorry.
yeah, you can name her. And these people here, I feel as though they're one of the people who, like I said, the anti-woke side does have some legitimate arguments, right? They are legitimate.
Yeah.
But when it comes to this, though, is that their arguments are not, what's that word I'm looking for? Genuine.
Okay.
It's for the simple fact that this game Kingdom Come Deliverance, excellent game, but this game is woke because you get the option because there's a gay character. No.
Yeah, that shit. Yeah.
What's the story?
Wait. I have a genuine question. Okay, that aspect of it that you're talking about, it's optional. Like you can choose to be gay, choose to be bisexual. So it's pretty much Kingdom Come Deliverance 1, where every choice and everything you did in the game is a choice.
Yes,
that part.
And so
that actually affected the game. That's I'm done here, y'all.
It's an RPG, and it's an RPG. Like literally, I mean, I like that first argument because you notice like that. I want y'all to notice something, right? You notice that was the first thing they brought up was the gay choice, right? They brought that up. And then when folks realized that wasn't working, then they try to take it a step further. That was the part that, like, it's a fucking choice in the video game, right? It was literally an option. And a matter of fact, the option is so convoluted that you got to do all of these steps. If memory serves me correctly, there are so many steps that you have to do, and it locks you out of certain things if you go down that route.
Yes.
So it's an option.
I got a lot of shit to say about this. As somebody who plays choice-based games, I am tired of people complaining about what they can and can't do in a game, but you give them the choice to choose to do these things, and they're still complaining.
Yep.
There's no way you're going to sit here and tell me you're going to bitch at having a choice to be bi, gay, or straight. And your complaint is, well, I can't get XYZ thing if I'm doing this or doing that. Bitch, it's part of the fucking story.
Part of the game, yep.
That's because they want it to be mandatory.
Yeah.
But then also too, that's like
and I did put in mods where I could romance whoever I wanted as a female character. But still.
Yeah. It's kind of like what you do within Street Fighter 6 when it comes to like how you build your characters, avatars, but how you clothe them and so forth.
Yeah.
You can choose how you want to put that, how you want to clothe your avatar.
Yes.
And but what pisses me off, when Street Fighter 6's introductory came to the Battle Hub was where the transgender or what you call the gender neutral host comes through and stuff. And I'm like, look, I don't want to see that. I think that should be more of a choice than a mandatory thing. I don't like that. That's why I keep telling people all the time. I say being gay, bisexual, whatever the hell your preference is, that's a choice, much like addiction. Addiction is a choice. And people don't understand the term choice. Why do you think the Matrix was made? Why do you think the Wachowski brothers went from literally being the Wachowski brothers to the Wachowski sisters? Because they exercised the same type of shit that they did in the Matrix. The term is choice. Red pill or blue pill? Which one you want, motherfucker?
Yeah.
No, and you're not wrong.
I mean that's the problem, and my biggest thing with this is like it was a choice, and people tried to, and like I said, those people that were doing the grifting, they tried to do it like that, and then when that wasn't working because people realized like okay, it was a choice, then they try to make it worse and try to say, oh well, it has underage depictions. I'm like, look, it's fucking entertainment at the end of the day. That if you want to be completely technical, it's taking place in the time of that fantasy era, that back in the day, like Dark Ages, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of fantasy takes place in the Dark Ages time, that medieval period. Okay.
Yeah.
First off, what a lot of people don't realize, if you did any bit of research back in the day, most of the time you were considered adult back, like right when you hit puberty. Okay. The minute your dude's ball, like if you were a man, the minute your balls dropped and your voice changed, you got a little bit more hair on your chest, whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? You were a man at that point. You know what I'm saying? For women, the very second you had your first period, you know what I'm saying? You were a woman. That you were considered a woman, from a child to a woman at that point. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, you didn't live long. Because there wasn't no like stuff to help you live longer like that. And then not to mention in some cases you were in shitty situations anyway. You know what I'm saying? So like
Are we
you
talking?
was
Are we talking about biblical? Are we talking about from Genesis on, like how
like we're
technology
talking
advanced? Or we
well
We're
talking
talking
about
medieval era.
medieval era,
Yeah,
like
oh yeah,
like
tuberculosis, plague, all that bullshit.
yeah,
Disease, plague, that's
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, you had tuberculosis plague. You had the king if the king didn't like what you were saying, you didn't agree with the king, your head was cut off. You know what I'm saying? You had all that shit.
Okay. Keep in mind, as much as I'm all for history being a game and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. I think my only gripe is when they try to do it, but they're picky and choosy about what they allow in there. Like
right, if you're gonna do it, do it all the way.
Yeah, don't just put in the shock value shit. If you gonna do the era, do the era. Allow everything.
Let me ask you this: you said people talked about sodomy and shit in this game. Now I don't know much about Kingdom Come Deliverance, but what I do understand is the term sodomy. So all sodomy is just basically oral sex between or anal sex. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And biblically it's considered a crime because it was mostly enforced against homosexuality.
Mhm.
But here we are these days, and everybody's hitting their chick from the back. So I mean, there you go.
What they said about Kingdom, what they think about what they keep it in line with Kingdom Come Deliverance too. What they're saying was when the gay thing didn't work, they tried to say the characters were underage. The character, the romance character, it was homosexual sodomy. Basically, that's what they were trying to say, which was foul. Which that was definitely not the case at all in the least bit. Like it was like they even like the guy that made the game said everybody was over 18. You know what I'm saying? Was over the age of 18, which, like I said, to be honest with you, they really shouldn't even need to do that because it was fucking entertainment. Some of the same people that sit in their trip about shit, they still watch anime. And I'm not talking about like
anime.
They watch, and I'm talking about shonen. I'm talking shonen anime that still talks about high school kids and shit like that. Like, My Hero Academia, all that high school age. So
I mean, look at fucking Orihime is, and I mean interrupt. I was gonna say, but Orihime literally is a big titty carrot top chick. From remember Orihime?
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
She's a fucking high schooler.
Exactly. So I'm like, so they're these people that are affecting this stuff is picky and choosy. So let's call a spade a fucking spade.
You got this.
Keep it entertainment. Like that's my biggest thing is keep it within the realms of entertainment. We don't have no problems. What these grifters do to answer the question, really, my bad, Disparity. You good. But to answer more of the question, what a lot of these people are doing, like I said, it's really up to you as a person to either if you don't want to engage with this, if you think it's stupid and you don't want to engage, do your best not to engage with it, right? B, if you do decide to engage with it, realize that some of these people, you got to know how to take it on a case-by-case basis, right? Knowing that there are some people, have the conversation with certain people. There are some people out there that are just out. You'd be surprised how many content creators are out here just, doing it because it's popular. Some of them don't know shit from shit. You know what I'm saying? From shit from shine. You feel me? Like they don't know. There are some people that are willing to have that conversation. You feel me?
Yeah.
But there are some content creators out there that won't do stuff like this. They don't want to be in a conversation. They want to be right. They want to do this and a third. But you also got to consider too the level of where they're at. You know what I'm saying? Some people you may have more access to than others. Some people you don't know them from a can of paint. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't want to have that conversation maybe with you, or they may not feel comfortable, or they may not even see you. You don't know. So you got to keep that in mind. You can't just keep calling people grifter because you don't agree with their opinion. And I've been saying that to anybody. That goes both ways. I've argued. I've been in the middle of so much bullshit with people. That's why I just say my shit and I'm fucking gone. We've had this discussion. We've had this discussion before.
It's pretty bad though when even Leon is starting to call out the fucking grifter bullshit.
That too, yeah, exactly. Yeah, but there are bad, bro. And I will agree with that. There are certain people that is like, okay, yes, that. But once again, that goes back to what I'm saying, case by case basis. If you don't want to deal with that person, or you may not have seen their shit, it is what it is. Let it be that, and keep it fucking pushing. Like I said, some of this shit, bro. Like after, like for example, I was joking with the whole Melody Max situation, but after she done blocked me, I don't give two fucks because like at the end of the day, you know, she blocked me out of all things. She blocked me because I laughed at a fucking meme that Leon put out.
You know, like here's the thing though, like I'm a big, you know, as y'all
Well,
know, I'm a big
Wait,
advocate.
Hey,
Like,
show me
go
that
ahead,
meme.
Dispute.
Like here's the thing, I'm a big advocate.
I gotta find it.
Like I'm a big advocate when it comes to playing, you know, video games. I play every game under the sun. Like
Right.
keep this in mind. Like when it comes to games, if it looks interesting, I'll buy it, I'll play it, and then you know, I also got to formulate my opinion. You know, I know everybody want, you know. I've been in this space too for quite you know the past 4 years. You know, it's easy for me to tell. Like I don't. Here's the thing. I don't use when I call people grifters, and so I don't use that term every single day. But when I do use it though, there's a reason why I use it because I know how these people are operating right now. Like it's not hard to put two and two together. You know,
Right.
as a gamer, you know it's always best to sit there and formulate. You know, you don't have to buy every game that comes out under the sun, but
yeah.
For me to take your opinion seriously, I need you to play it and figure out if it in like get. No, I need to play it to formulate my own opinion. Now, when it comes to Kingdom Come Deliverance or let's say Dragon Age Velgar, any of these games that recently came out, you know, let's go with Kingdom Come. These people are when they're talking about Kingdom Come Deliverance, these people are grifting. This is a game that's been created by an indie studio who's finally found you know their success in this game or whatnot. You know, the first one was decent. Second one's better, but you know it's like clockwork. They're jumping from game to game to game.
They're jumping to what's popping off in the thing. Yeah, and I get it. Like I said, like that part I understand. That part I understand. and we've talked about that before. Like I get where you're coming from with that. But like my problem with some of these people is just that you got to know how to like Kendrick say, turn the TV off for some of these niggas. Okay, cool. Like there's certain people that like I don't mind having a conversation with some of these people. You know what I'm saying? And I don't like if that's the case. Like, but if they don't want to come into spaces or have conversations with people, or you know, or you also can't get mad when all you see is their online shit and you're doing all of that. Like, I'm not defending anybody by no stretch, but you kind of got to, like I said, that's why I said you got to know when and where. Because like I said, there's certain games, like I play a lot of games, but if I see a game and the game looks like shit to me, I'm not playing it. Like, I'm telling you,
I was gonna say that the only reason I stopped following Melanie Mac ultimately is because of Christian morals kind of contradict themselves, and especially because she follows someone by the name of Alex Rosen, who is supposedly supposed to be this whole like pedo poacher kind of person, but in actuality, what he really is a full-blown racist. And I've seen some of his work firsthand. I'm like, dude, you're a fucking racist, man. Like, what? And I'm looking like, what, Melanie? Why do you follow this man, knowing that he's a racist? That right there, that right there, just was a nail in the coffin for me. I'm like, no, I'm cool. You fix that, then you know maybe I'll show some love, and maybe that love will be reciprocated because I'm also a content creator and streamer too. But I mean, say hell, you know, one of my situations I talked about recently was I talked about the Perfect Legend 13-0 situation again, and I also spoke about the neo-Nazis in Cincinnati, Ohio, which I do not like. You know, that was a very, very fucked up thing. But my point to this is, you know, I feel how you guys, you know, feel when it comes to that grifting format. You know?
Right. I just feel like at this point, when it comes down to it, a lot of people with social media being the way it is right now, is that everybody's got a, like I mentioned earlier, everybody's got a megaphone at this point. Everybody does. Okay, from Disparity, Riddler, you know what I'm saying? Theo, you got one. I got one. But it's how you use the shit, right? And you know, yeah, there are some times where yes, doing some clickbait shit, okay, everybody's gonna do it at some point or another. It's part of how the game works, right? So you can literally sit up here and use it as a tool to create conversation, to generate a conversation, to generate people to come in here, have discussions like this, and then we can leave and say, okay, I didn't really agree with what LG said about X, Y, and Z, but you know what? I get it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, when other people come in and say, well, LG's grifted, nah, bro, we actually had a conversation. That's not where he's coming from. Because that's the problem with social media is everybody's on the hot, what's the word? They're reading, too busy reading headlines. Every
Well,
world the
what's funny
headline.
is Melanie likes to say that that Laura Croft was never sexualized in Tomb Raider, and we all said, "Well, that's cap. You want some
That's
proof?
her whole
Then show
existence.
proof." Yeah,
That's her entire existence. That literally. But like I said, with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, like I said, I have the first one on Epic Store. Now that I think about it, I think it was free for Epic at one point, and I didn't get a I downloaded it. I just never really got a chance to like install it and play it. Not, you know what I'm saying?
To bring a little bit from YouTube chat, by the way, you know, Zorak said people aren't saying, by the way, he says he's a Christian. He will never know what being gay in a game would be like because he will never touch that option.
That's the best comment. Yes. See, and matter of fact, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad the commenter said that because that goes to the other point that I was going to make. There is an achievement, y'all. Everybody's heard of Lollipop Chainsaw, right?
Yeah.
There's an achievement that if you're not that type of person, you'll never get. Okay. There's an achievement for looking up old girl's skirt. Okay.
I'm pretty sure I got that one.
Okay.
For not
not
doing it, right?
Right. If you're not doing it intentionally, like if that never came across your mind, or if you feel like that's in you not to do or whatever, or if you're not that curious, you're never gonna get that achievement. You know what I'm saying?
Not gonna lie, that was me.
Okay. And there's nothing wrong with that, right?
Right. I get what you're saying. I'm just
what I'm saying? No, you're good. All I'm saying is that if that's not you, right? If you really don't want to go down that route, okay, if you just want to enjoy the game the way you want to enjoy the game, that's your business, right? I'm on 2K right now, but I am not playing that game online. You got me fucked up.
What's wrong with 2K?
And also, Aiden, not to throw you on the spot. Do you have anything to say? Because I know you're not much into the the Twitter space and stuff. You probably don't see a lot of this here. But for what have you seen? Have you seen people going around talking about certain games that they're not going to play, but they're creating the outrage bait?
No, I don't get too much into it. If I see, honestly, I don't even get them recommended to me. I don't really care to dig into it like that or give these people my time.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
that's very much fair.
Fair enough. Hey, I just so happen to see it because I know a few people that do it, and I'm like, I don't mind it. Like, I'll talk, like I said, I don't mind having a conversation with folks, but if folks don't want to do it, I'm not tripping. If folks don't want to, if folks want to, I don't, this is gay, and I'm like, well, okay, well, I don't care. Like, you can be gay in the game, it doesn't matter. Like, that doesn't. Oh, well, this person's black in the game. I don't care, bro. Like.
I can't stand that part.
And that's another thing too. Yes, like as you know, I'm a black man. I love, like I always say, I like diversity. I don't care if the character's black, Spanish, something like that. Diversity in games is fine. It's just my main gripe with that is if a game comes out and the character's black, y'all say DEI, diversity, whatever. But then let's say if a black person creates the game themselves, and they always say, Negro, go create your own game, Negro. Negro goes creates his own game. Character's main black as a main black character or whatever. Oh, your game is woke now. But did y'all just told this black man to go create his own video game and he came out with it? Why is it's a problem? But this is the issue though with the whole anti-woke movement. By the way, we got like about 7 minutes left in the podcast here. But it's like that's the whole thing. Reason like within the whole anti-woke community though is like again, there are some people out there that actually have
they don't know what woke is.
Yeah,
they just slap a label on it. Like you got to define what that is. Like honestly, like I said, and I agree with you. Having a black person in the game is not woke. That's definitely not it. But you do have to look at the intent matters.
Yeah.
Right. You do have to look at the intent. You do got to look at what it's for. If there are any connections, if at all, and if those connections line up to what it is, then yeah, it might be. But outside of that, then no. Then no. Just because a person, I've been saying it. I want to see more of us, in the gaming space, creating space. You know what I'm saying? I want to see more of us creating games and doing all of that. I would love to see more of it, but. Okay. We don't need the victim mentality. We need to drop that.
Now
that's why.
Yeah. So for the very final topic here, it goes into tangent what we're talking about here is the whole saying of go woke, go broke. Because apparently that is also a term or a saying that is being tremendously used for every single game. So to give you guys an example, there are several games, and this is the one thing that I hate. because a lot of these groups, a lot of these people, these grifters, I would like to say, they use this term tremendously. And keep this in mind, they always use the Steam charts as an example. Let me tell y'all something. First and foremost, people, not everyone is not on Steam. Let's get that out the way. Everybody is not on Steam. The latest game to get that controversy was Kingdom Come Deliverance. It had 100,000 people in it. I'm sorry, scratch that. It had 150 to 200,000 people playing the game. But apparently, this is on PC only, mind you. But that game went woke, and they're apparently going broke. Even though they made back their $2 million or the money that they made, they sold 2 million copies and made their money back on that game. Another game, for example, which we still don't, which we finally figured out the sales figures for, and this is partially EA. So if you hate it or like it, it's Dragon Age: The Veilguard. That game for me, I played it, I beat it, I gave it a 7. I gave it a good 7 out of 10. A reason being is that the gameplay is, I give the gameplay a 9, but I give the story a 6 because it's like various other Dragon Age games, other than probably Inquisition. The first game is fantastic. Inquisition was decent, but the new writers for the game was ass. But, that game sold on its first day on Steam. It had like 89,000 to 100,000. Could it be a failure? Yeah. Sure, but also EA stated that it didn't hit their what do you call their quotations or their mark or whatever. And but then the moral of the story on that is that EA also stated that they thought they should have kept live service elements in the game. I don't know where they got that from.
Bro, that was a fucking stupid. Yeah, no, they were dumb as hell for that. That was like, what the fuck?
Like, so the way, wherever how you see it, but anyways, though, when it comes to just Steam or whatever, I hate it when they just use these Steam charts. Look, if your game makes over, you should be put like this. A lot of these game devs are grateful that their game even gets over 50,000 people playing it, or maybe 1,000 people playing, because not a lot of game developers get that kind of notion, especially from indie game devs. Like, so because what that means is that every game that doesn't make a certain hit on Steam, you're basically calling them woke, and that's not the case at all, or whatever. It's just a lot of these games. Not everyone's. Again, a lot of these games are not going to hit for various people, or whatever. And so, like, as y'all know, there's been a Twitter user by the name of York who calls every game that he doesn't agree with woke because it didn't hit. A
lot of people going after him.
Because it feels
a lot of people are going after him
because he's one of
my bad.
No, you're good. It's because he's one of those people who are not genuine when it comes to this whole cultural aspect. Like I said, there are genuine people. There are some legitimate people out there on both sides. But he's one of those guys who is literally in there to disrupt and is there for the profit of it, for the Twitter engagement and the profit, because he knows people are that easy to grab onto. They need a lot of people. A lot of human beings need things to grab onto somebody. That's why we have a lot of sheep and not a lot of not a lot of followers.
Right, not a lot of people talk. Yeah, not a lot of people listen and taking the time to listen. And like the saying has some weight to it. It has a little bit of weight to it, but I think with people like York and stuff like that, they keep overusing it and all of that stuff. Like it's like with anything else, they try to. It's like when you learn the word or term, you know what it means. You throw it in every sentence to see where it fits. That's exactly where these people are doing. They're doing it every time. It worked here, so maybe it'll work for this game. No, Kingdom Come, Deliverance actually, gamers actually spoke. They, what I'm saying? What was the numbers? I know it was higher than 100,000. It was like, ain't it? I think
200 or 250,000.
Something. Yeah, bro. That's a fucking what? And that's just Steam, bro. Yes. That's just fucking Steam. So that's excellent. You know what I'm saying? For a Steam, for Steam, and yeah, people are using. I think people are using Steam and stuff like that as a metric, as one of the metrics. I think there's other people that are using more than just Steam. I think Steam right now is just that people are using Steam because it's easily accessible as far as numbers wise, versus like places like Sony, Microsoft, where you have to maybe do a little bit more digging. You're not exactly showing that. Don't quote me on that. I could be just as wrong. Yeah, but I think that's why, because it's easy to look up steamdb.com and you can look it up for any game. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So yeah.
But yeah, go ahead. But
I do agree it's over. I do agree it's over. It could be a bit overused, but it's not necessarily one of those things where it's not necessarily wrong. So you do gotta, like, once again, to me, it always boils back to discussions like this where how do you see this? And like I said, people like York, I don't really fuck with, because I think even Leon called him out. You know what I'm saying? Call him
Hey, it's
and
like
several other people.
It's like what Rilla said, man. If Leon had to call it out, then there's a problem.
Right. I feel it, bro.
So
I just feel like a lot of these people, like, I get it. You know, people are trying to do whatever they can to get attention, and that's fine. I get it. It's an attention-based game. Do whatever you need to do. But at the end of the day, you just can't get mad when people, if people are it's like playing a fighting game, right? If you keep saying you're the best in XYZ fighting game, can't get mad when people want to come by and test you. So
yeah, like I said,
You know, I don't even do much to get attention, and I get it too damn much now because like LG's been living proof to see how many times I had to redo my damn Twitter because of this shit. I've gotten attention because I kicked someone's tail in Tekken. That they got mad at me for that. I got someone's attention just because I wasn't trying to take away from what this is the reason when I didn't try to take away from what this person did, getting a pentakill with Scarlet Witch from Marvel Rivals, and I'm just like, oh, I already did that a month ago, and I just did it in case anybody tried to tell me I was lying, and I said, no, this is me, and that was the whole point. But I was just kind of like, so to speak, comparing the difference, you know, and how she did it versus how I did it. And she got mad and it just blew out of proportion. And oh man, it's crazy. And I'm like, God dang. And that Twitter response right there just gave me so many freaking views and a hell of a lot of quotes and hell of likes. And they made it personal. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, and then the recent one was where I was on YouTube. I just did a quick dance video. Next thing I know, I get about 50K freaking people liking and viewing it. I'm like, holy shit. So I'm like, all right, cool. You know, at least that's a positive one.
Yeah.
But my point to the whole thing is, you know, I don't do much really to get attention. It's like when I try not to offend people, it's when I get the attention. Or if I'm like, yeah, I kicked your ass, you had this coming. Yeah, I offended that person because I'm like, I'm bragging about kicking their ass in a video game. They take it out of proportion. I'm like, man. But most people, in a sense, they just want the attention because they're trying to stay relevant. I don't do it to stay relevant. I just do it because, hey, I'm telling that person I kicked your tail. Hold that L. That's just me.
Yeah, I get that. But guys, it's where we just hit the 2-hour limit, y'all, because as you guys know, I like to do these podcasts for about 2 hours long. You know, I tend to do this about either once or twice a month, depending on what kind of different gaming news and stuff like that is out. Because, you know, I try to keep things around gaming because, you know, I love gaming. I mean, that's why we're all here for. We are all gamers. We all like to talk about gaming and stuff like that. And, you know, whether you like games or you don't like games, you know, if you don't like the current game that's coming out, you know, buy it cheaply if you know XYZ or whatever, right? Anyway, so Brittler, tell everybody where they can find you at.
They can find me a lot of places, but I'm usually on YouTube doing the damn thing and on Twitch. Also, February 28th, be sure to wish list our game. It is in my profile on my YouTube, on my Twitch, on my Twitter as well. We are a part of Sorcery Zero Lab. I am the chief marketing officer thereof, voice acting, all that good jazz. We have a game which is a mech game based on front mission elements, and we also have a tabletop already out. It's been out. It was out first, to be fair. But the game should be out. The demo should be out February 28th.
Cool.
Dead serious.
Appreciate that.
If you can, look me up. Say that again.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Elements.
Oh, what'd you say, Ryan?
No, I was asking about this game.
Okay.
What was you asking?
Elements. That's what it's called.
No. It's called Fusion, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You already wish listed, motherfucker.
He you know, truth be told, he wish lists a lot of games.
I do.
I mean, I shouldn't be surprised because I do it. To be fair, I got 400. But I have no room to talk. But yeah, I'm gonna be back to streaming. I got the league all set up, ready to everything else to go. I just got one more thing I need to complete, and then once that's done, yeah, everything will be back on the up and up. Seriously.
All right, Aiden.
LG, you need to get with me too, dude.
So, Aiden, let us know what you're about and who you are, or let people know, sir.
I'll keep it short for you guys.
Just start say your shit, man. It's your platform. Go ahead.
The only place you can really find me is on YouTube, and then, you know, of course, I'm on here too, but not as much. But my channel is just all about single player gaming, countdowns, most anticipated games, whatever, gaming news and live streams. So that's what I'm about.
All right. Appreciate that, sir. Vanta, who you are? Tell people who you are, what you're about, sir.
I'm at the Black Knight. I mean, you can find me mostly on Twitter right now. Actually, no, on this account, but maybe soon to Blue Sky. Actually, I'm already on Blue Sky as well. But yeah, I'm just right now. I'm just trying to get things set up, and like I said, still building that computers.
Yeah, that you are. And as for me, as y'all don't know who I am, my name is Disparity. I'm a big fan of RTS return strategy. Well, go ahead, LG. Since you want to take, go ahead.
Yeah.
You're like leave the best for last.
You the last. You the host.
Yeah, go
you
ahead.
the host.
Right.
Just your shit.
Now, go ahead, LG. Go ahead.
Disrespect. Good lord.
Just like a nigga.
Right. No, but yeah, I appreciate y'all having me on. As always, it's a pleasure. But I can only do that to Disparity because I'm cool with them. Y'all, if anybody else do it, y'all got a problem. That's your problem. I have to backhand you.
You gotta
anyway,
be in the inner circle.
Yeah, you got to be in the inner circle. The Emperor will backhand you. I don't even have to back you. I'll send one of my ninjas to do it. No, but anyway, y'all can find me on Twitter, 210LG. Y'all can find me on YouTube as well, 210LG, Instagram, 210_LG. I'm working on a whole lot of stuff right now. That's why I've been quiet. Been just chilling out, trying to get my some things together. I do have an album that I'm working on. At least the first half of the album, trying to get that done. And
nice.
yeah, I'm working on that. I got the members only right now. I do have the audio version or an audio version for you guys to kind of give you an idea where the project is going to go. And yeah, check it out.
All right. And as for me, guys, my name is Disparities. Y'all don't know who I am. I am a big fan of RTS, turn-based and real-time strategy games. Sky, I'm sorry, and RPGs. Goddamn, I already fucked up my. Anyways, though, yeah, I sure did. Anyways, though, as of right now, I am currently on a small streaming break because I want to go ahead and focus on other aspects of my channel to bring things up to par and make things a lot better. So I'm revamping thumbnails. I'm changing some channels up. I'm fixing my Patreon. I'm about to start re-uploading up the Instagram. I'm doing a lot of different things and focusing on a lot of different things in my craft. So it's really great because as of right now, technically I'm ahead in a lot of my projects I've been working on right now, especially when it comes to like my Let's Play stuff. So now I get to finally focus on my video essays, my countdowns or video essays similar to what Aiden's is doing or whatnot. So I'm gonna try to do like 3 at a time where I can have 3 months of video essays to drop or whatnot. But during this time though, it's been great for me to like really focus down and like hammer down and change some aspects of my channel before I can grow my channel and make it better for when I do return to live streaming, and I can put on some entertaining stuff for you all, honestly. But today, guys, was an excellent podcast. I do appreciate everyone for coming on it and speaking their piece and speaking their mind. Like once again, I try to do this at least once or twice a month, depending on what kind of gaming news is out there. We'll talk about it and I'll throw some topics in there and so on and so forth. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. If you're on X, appreciate you guys. You guys have a good night. Stay safe, stay out of trouble, and peace out, everybody.
Ooh.
Bye.
Good talk.